Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Lucy on the Ozarks First Digital Desk. Last week, Jim Middleton announced his retirement. Lots of folks make that decision every month. Jim Middleton, though, is a basketball guru who coached at various levels with both men and women's basketball for more than 3 decades. I wanted to share an interview that I did with Coach where we touched on the sport. Jim Middleton spent the last 2 years of his coaching career at Evangel, where he helped restore the women's program there. And I started by asking him about that.
So I feel like I did, or it's one of those things I wouldn't leave otherwise in that respect, because I always wanted to leave things a little bit better than when I found it. That's always been something, my motto, kind of I live by. And you know, I love higher Christian education. I do, and obviously my years at Southwest Baptist. And I thought, if this ever opens up, this would be a great place to finish up.
Jim Middleton played his high school ball at Nixa. He started his coaching career with Cheryl Burnett as a Lady Bear assistant coach during their final 4 years of the 90s. Middleton spent 14 seasons at Southwest Baptist coaching the Lady Bearcats. Then he stepped back to the high school ranks and led Nixa Lady Eagles to a state championship. He was a Drury assistant coach before ending his remarkable career at Evangel. Over that time, he won more than 273 games and is a member of multiple Halls of Fame. I asked Middleton what he thinks about the current collegiate situation where players can transfer multiple times and colleges need to pay the players NIL money.
My standpoint, there's still an innocence to the game. Now, it's trickling down. I mean, it's just going to. But to what effect, I don't, you know, as a head coach, I don't know what's going to happen. I talked to a lot of my friends at the D1 and even D2 level, and just the changes of it. Hey, now we got to recruit our own players back, let alone go out and recruit. And you know, I don't want to say it's a positive or a negative or anything. It's just how it is now. It's how things are laid out. It's the rules of the game. But from an NAIA standpoint, there still is an innocence to this, and I appreciate that very much.
Now, Middleton has coached both boys and girls at the high school level, coached women's basketball at both the D1 and D2 and NAIA levels, and I asked him about the athletes themselves. Have they changed over the years?
And some days I say yeah, and then some days I say nah, coaches have allowed them to change. And I think there's a little bit of both, along with cultural change as well, or there's more now in which athletes have a little more, for lack of a better term, power, a say, a voice, and a lot of that's good, but I think there's some that maybe hasn't been quite as good. I don't know where the happy median is in that as well. So, but again, to answer your question, Again, I don't know if I've ever really come up with a good answer on that. Again, because some days I'll waffle one direction and the next day maybe I go back the other.
When I caught up with Jim Middleton to talk with him last week, he said it was fitting that I was talking with him about his retirement, because he said that the very first interview he ever did was between the two of us back in the 90s when he was an assistant coach with the Lady Bears. It all comes around full circle. Best of luck to Coach as he enjoys his retirement and his grandchildren. For more sports, watch Ozarks First News at 9 and 10, and I'll see you then.